Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about 5 things that vanish after retiring early. And we're going to jump right in and talk about this first one because this one I feel like is a pretty big deal to a lot of people, and that is your relevance is gone. Because for the most part, your identity is kind of tied into your job, and now it's gone. It's not here anymore.
Yeah, it can be tied to your job, or maybe you were raising your children, and these types of things, you end up pretty quickly. You can have very little relevance. And when we were younger, we bought our first house when we were 25 or 30, and we used to always wonder, we had an HOA, and why did these people who are our age now, 50, 60, why do they walk around the neighborhood fighting us for our delinquent front yard and not having the right grass height and all this? And we were like, why would anybody ever want to do that? We just didn't understand. Now we understand, because now we're over 50. They're doing that for relevance. They had a very powerful job all their life, and then they retired. And this is another form of power or relevance that they get back into their life. And we see this all the time in retirees, people searching for relevance, people trying to find a way to get relevance. And if you don't find a way to have relevance, it can come out in some actually pretty ugly ways. And you see like people fighting online and like, why are these people doing this? They're just wanting to have some type of relevance. So it's very, very important. Find a way to get relevance in your life. We're doing that ourselves through this YouTube channel. That's one of the reasons we have it, but you do need to find a way to have some relevance.
Yeah, I think for us, this was an easy landing place in, sharing information with others and helping to educate about different lifestyles and different ways of doing things. And it does really make a difference for us to do something like this. So, hopefully that's something that you take into consideration right out of the gate, because it really takes hold pretty quick when you retire.
Yeah, we both had jobs, or we had people kind of looking to us for advice or different things. We ran a modeling agency in Atlanta, and we had people coming to us all the time, like trying to get started in modeling, and we would help them do this. And it did feel good in a lot of ways. It was a job, but it did feel good to help people and to help people get off on the right foot. And so once we left that behind, it was kind of like, okay, well, all that's gone. That kind of feeling of benevolence, and most people want a little bit of that in their life. And so YouTube has really replaced that. That's one of the reasons why we try to do YouTube videos that are helpful, because it does help us share things that we've learned. And I just think that's something that is good for most people. Once you reach 50 or 60, you've learned a lot of stuff, whether it's in your retirement or whether it's just in your field. You could really pass on all that knowledge you've gathered for the last 30 years, pass that on to someone through a YouTube video, no matter what you're doing. And so it's a great way to maintain that relevance. But that's like the biggest thing we see. You can see pretty clearly the people that don't have enough relevance in life, because when we do like a meetup with a bunch of other retirees, they'll be the ones that are just like trying to dominate the whole conversation, like prove to everybody how great they are and how good they're doing. And it's like, it's very evident, and everyone kind of looks and is like, why are they doing that? And the answer is, they need to be heard. They need relevance, and they have no outlet for that. And you just want to take care of that, so it's not something that kind of pops up and you don't even know it.
The next thing is that you find you're going to need a new routine, because your old routine gone. You're used to having your schedule, getting up in general. Most people, I know for my job, needed to get up super early, which means, my day was planned out entirely around my work day, and even had to go to bed very early in order to get up as early as I had to get up. And that vanished, which in my case was super, because I didn't want to get up at 4 a.m. anymore. So I was able to then shift my schedule. But you find yourself having to find a new routine. You're like, well, I don't know what to do. I'm just sitting around. I find myself just sitting and staring. And even like nowadays, you find yourself doing things like scrolling, or even sometimes that's how you get into that dark hole of leaving comments on things that you shouldn't be leaving comments on and stuff like that. It's important to figure out a new routine fairly quickly after you do retire early.
Yeah, it was tough for us for a little bit to figure that out, and especially because we were traveling. That adds another layer that makes it harder, but we've kind of now settled into a routine, kind of a daily routine that works for us as to when we're going to go to bed, when we're going to wake up, and it does now feel normal, and that's good, but that routine is completely gone, and it's okay. Like you've worked hard to afford yourself to pick your own routine. You want to wake up at 9:30, 10 o'clock, that's fine. We always find ourselves, if we're in a hotel, breakfast goes till 10, we're going to be there at 9:57. So that's just how it's going to go. And in fact, we were in this hotel in Vietnam, and for like a week we were the only people in the hotel, and breakfast was from 6 to 10 a.m. and they kept opening their breakfast at 6 a.m. We're like, you can just open this thing at 9:30.
We're not going to be here at 6.
We will not be there at 6. So but they kept opening it every day. So anyway, eventually more guests came to the hotel. But yeah, we've settled into that routine, and that's good. We stay up a little bit later now. We wake up a little bit later, and that's fine. But that old routine is going to go, and you have to make a peace with it that things are going to change.
Yes. So the next one is that your work is done. Mission accomplished. You're done with the work. It's over. It's gone. Any career goals you had, anything like that, gone. And now it's time to set new goals and, kind of set new purposes for the places that you want to see, the experiences that you want to have. You kind of have to, not to be melodramatic about it, but you kind of have to grieve your career, your job that you had, that you left behind, because you do need to kind of peacefully say goodbye to it and then start your new life. And yes, it is very exciting to make that shift, but if you don't make that shift also like in your mind, in your heart kind of thing, it really does kind of, draw the process out essentially to make the shift from I was working here, this is what I did, to I'm just doing this other thing now, and just kind of set new goals for yourself, set new health goals. If that's not something that you could spend time and concentrate on when you were working, you could do that now. Set new goals of, I want to be able to read books or write a book or learn how to do photography or whatever. Those are things that you can do. Or, like some people are like, oh, I've been dying to do a YouTube channel, and now I can do that because I have time that I can actually take the time to work on videos and things like that.
Yeah, I know for me, I spent my whole career basically as a photographer for the last 15, 20 years, and I was in a mode every day of which photos are the most marketable, which ones can we sell for the most money, which ones will sell the most amount of times, what do we have to do to get those photos. And photography was also my hobby, but I never really spent time doing that because it was just so much photography. And so now I'm looking more at like which photos do I want to take, not really with an eye towards, because I'm not even selling them. I could still sell them, but I don't really want to go through that again. So it's more of through the agencies. So now it's more of a what do I want to do, and it's a lesson in life that when you're working, you don't always do what you want to do. You do what is going to be best, and when you're retired, you do what you want to do. And so that's a big mindset shift for me, and that carries over to basically all of our life.
Absolutely. Next one that we want to talk about is friends and family relationships. Now, these don't vanish, but they definitely change, and some of them considerably. And maybe some friendships might vanish, but just know ahead of time that your current friends and family relationships will change. They're not going to stay exactly as they are. They are going to evolve into something different, and that's okay, because honestly, they would have changed anyways, just in a different way than they would change now. You do have to make more of a concerted effort to connect with people, especially when you're on the other side of the world, like we're currently in Japan, and the time difference with our loved ones back home is very different. I mean, we have family on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and the Midwest, and we're dealing with three different, time zones in the US, but we make the effort to figure out what the times are, what's going to work, how can we reach out to our friends and family, figure out how you can connect with each other, because that is something that will vanish if you don't make that effort, because it will take a lot of effort on both sides if you want it to work.
Yeah, and it's something that people, I think, overestimate the importance of, is maintaining friendships with people that they had, because there's a lot of friendships in your life that are meant for just a season, just for a time period, and they will then fade away. And those will be replaced with new friendships that will be for the next season. Then they will also take that place. So, we do hear a lot of people saying, well, I would never want to leave my town because I have all my friends. And I think sometimes people kind of, hamstring themselves into not doing something they want to do because they're afraid of losing a relationship that was probably going to end at some point anyway, either because the other people were moving away or things were just going to change as you get older. We know that our friendships changed all throughout the years. Some of them were built on based on where we lived. Some of them were built on based on activities that our kids were doing. Some of them were built on the jobs that we had. And a lot of those types of friendships, they go by the wayside over the years, and they don't really stand the test of 30 or 40 years. But those friendships are easily replaced. We meet so many people traveling. We have made more friends traveling probably than we had at home, because it's just, you wouldn't believe how easy it is. And we talk about this all the time. For some reason, we don't change like the way we dress. We go to countries. I'm in my American dad outfit with, my shirt, my khaki pants, and it's pretty obvious that we're American when we're walking around town. And so any other American can recognize we're American. And so they will immediately come up to us and be like, well, where are you from? Oh, we're from Atlanta. Okay, cool. I'm from Florida. And then you're friends because you're just that's all it takes. And they do that so often that we meet so many people that there's no shortage of friendship possibilities. It's like some condos, like every time we go in the elevator, we make a new friend because
we're just like, let's take the stairs. I need a break.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you end up just going out to dinner with people, and we have friends now. And now we know where they are. Like they're staying in this city, and when we go to that city, we can look them up. So we have friends pretty much all over the world now because of people that we've met along the way. And those new relationships that are for this season of life have replaced the old ones, because these new people that we've met, they understand what we're doing. So we have tons in common with them, because they're also trying to get a visa or trying to figure out where they're going to go next. And when we talk about things, it's like, oh, how did you like Kuala Lumpur? Oh, how did you like Bali? Where'd you stay there? Oh, I'm going to go there too. That's a lot different than the conversation you're having with your friends back home, which is like they have absolutely no understanding of what you're doing, and it's much harder. So friendships definitely will change.
Yeah, absolutely. The next thing that will change is money. Again, this is also one that will not necessarily vanish, but it will be different. The money is going to be different because you made a set salary at your job, and now that you're retired, your money is going to look different. And in some cases, it's going to be less money. In some cases, it's going to be more money. And just the way that your relationship with money is going to be so different, especially if you do like we did and just kind of sell everything and travel full time. Things are going to be very different. You know, objects, you're just not going to have much, because are you going to travel around with it or pay to store it? Your mentality or centered around money is going to be so different, that consistency of the money is going to be very different. Again, it won't necessarily vanish, it'll just be changed.
Yeah, we have found the money aspect to be very, very different for us. And, you know, we didn't expect a lot of what's happened to us, but you may run into opportunities to make money. And some people want to make extra money. Survey we read recently said 70% of Americans are going to work a little bit while they're in retirement. And that's great, because that just means that you're doing things the right way. You're not leaving all your years, like it used to be you had to work a really long time to guarantee yourself that you wouldn't run out of money. Well, now you can kind of retire a little bit early and work a little bit as you go if you need to, or pick something up here and there. That's a much better way to do it, because a lot of people that did it the old way, they never made it to retirement. They never did anything they wanted to do, because those years between 50 and 65 are the best chance you have of doing some of these things that you maybe won't have the health to do when you're 70. So we found that it's not that difficult to pick up ways to earn a little money along the way. And your experience in whatever job you've had may be very beneficial to you in that way. We've actually ended up making more money now than we did while we were working, you know, combined 90 hours a week in Atlanta, and now we have a bigger income. Basically, just we spend about 5 hours doing something every week. So combined. So yeah, you may run into some things, and there's a lot of opportunities, because once you kind of unleash your creativity, you have time to think about things. That's a very big possibility for you. So don't be too concerned about the money. You may have all the money set aside that you'll need for the rest of your life. You may still end up doing things that just make you money, because there's a lot of things. Just don't underestimate the knowledge that you have, and that people are willing to pay you for that knowledge, and you're probably not going to turn down the money. So you may end up making more money than you think.
Exactly. I think that one is so key, especially like you were saying. For us, we started out doing YouTube as the first point that we talked about, which was the relevance, and then it ended up, you know, being so profitable that we're actually, like you said, making more money in retirement than when we were working our regular jobs for way less hours. So that's kind of a cool opportunity. Guys, we've got notes down in the description for you guys on a variety of things, including our YouTube course, if that's something that you're considering as well. Also for signing up for our newsletter, and also checking out credit card offers and things like that. So make sure you check out the description. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, make sure you do that. If this was helpful, give us a like and leave your questions in the comments.